You have one experience, and you have another equally difficult experience, and both have the potential to cause trauma. I think if the person who goes through the experience and has people to express it to, if they go through a traumatic experience and they express the trauma after it's happened, they cry, they wail, they shake, they go to their parents, they have a support network around them who love them, they receive empathy from people, and they release the energy of the trauma from the body straight after it's happened, then that won't stick within their system. In the same way that if a gazelle gets caught by a lion and then manages to get away and runs off, they'll shake and make noise, and it'll release from them, and they're not walking. That gazelle isn't then walking around for the rest of its life with a neurotic thing moving through their mind, flashbacks of lions. At least I presume they're not. But if somebody goes through a similarly traumatic experience, but they've been conditioned from a young age to shut down their emotions, if they've been conditioned that all their emotions aren't welcome, that they're not allowed to cry, that they're not allowed to get angry, and they've been used to repressing their emotions, and the traumatic incident happens and they feel ashamed about it and they have no one to share it with, then they will lock that trauma down in their body, and it gets locked down by the throat. The throat locks the trauma down. So that's why if you're wanting to heal from trauma, you have to start talking about it. You have to open the throat. And when you open the throat, tears might come. And when you open the throat and you express what you couldn't express at the time, even if it was 20 years ago, it wants to be spoken. Something in you wants to speak it. It wants to express it. It wants to cry it out, scream it out, rage it out. We have to learn to unlock the throat. And as well as unlocking the throat and letting it move, we also need to have a deep connection with the body. Because you can't fake screaming and shouting and letting trauma out. It has to come authentically. The energy it's like you want it bubbling up and to authentically release from you. And in order for it to authentically release from you, you have to be connected to your body. The more you get connected to your body, the more you're in your body, the body doesn't want to hold on to these things. The body wants to come back to health. There's a natural mechanism and tendency for the body to come back to a place of homeostasis, to come back to a place of emotional and psychological health. But we're so conditioned to lock and hold trauma down because we've closed off our throat, that the body isn't in homeostasis. The body's in this weird, whacked out way. And so, yeah, it's the one who, to answer your question again, the one who expresses trauma in the moment, has people empathizing with them, feels heard, feels listened to, feels validated in their experience, that experience will pass through. The one who doesn't have that, who holds it all in, that trauma can stay in them for their whole lives. And so if you are the second type and you have trauma that's been locked in your body, and you may be suffering from neurotic thinking, from anxiety, from whatever in the mind, then you need to, and it'll be a gradual process, gradually learn to reconnect with your body and gradually learn to express this trauma, to speak it out. And you can either do this with a therapist, hopefully a therapist who's also connected to their body, or you could do it in the comfort of your own home. You reimagine the situation you went through and you speak it out. Now, I say that it's locked in the throat, but for certain people, trauma can also release energetically. It doesn't necessarily need to be screamed out. It doesn't necessarily need to be cried out. Sometimes you can just feel through it in the system and it'll energetically release. But yeah, just go for it. To feel is to heal. The most important thing is to feel.